So my name is Romain Sestier. I'm the co-founder and CEO of StackOne. Founded StackOne 2 years ago to change the way that integration platforms work. We use LLMs to write deterministic enterprise-grade integrations for B2B SaaS software. We've been going for 2 years, and we're selling to B2B SaaS companies and AI agent companies. So the way that the AI strategy was shaped for StackOne was actually right at the beginning when we decided to create the company. My co-founder and I were actually playing around with other business ideas based on LLMs, and we realized that we could actually write pretty decent code. And hopefully the thesis was we were going to be able to write really high quality integrations with LLMs. One of the main issues with integration platforms, the previous generations, is that you either would have a lot of breadth of integrations, but not very much depth, or they would be vertically focused in one area and be super deep, but very narrow. And we realized from the beginning that you needed a different kind of architecture to utilize LLMs to be able to write integrations faster. So today we've built 200 integrations in under 2 years. We've tripled the speed at which we're building integrations thanks to our own internal agent that we've built. We've got some custom training data for that agent as well. So the biggest challenge with building integrations with LLMs is that the LLMs don't have the domain knowledge. They don't have knowledge about documentation for enterprise tools. Like sometimes it's gated, sometimes it's outdated, or it gets refreshed very often. So their base training is not good enough. But what's going to be really crucial is getting LLMs, which inherently have the problem of hallucinations and limited context windows, to be able to write these complex, customized integrations for enterprise software like Workday, SAP, Oracle, ServiceNow, etc. These are typically incredibly complex. That's what we specialized in. I think that's one of the core value propositions of our product, is the fact that we're faster and better at fixing issues when APIs change. So there's a couple of things. I think, first of all, the vast majority of the time there is warning. You have time to make the change. And so the question becomes, what's the best way to make that change in a way that's not impactful and retrospectively compatible with some of the existing implementations, because we essentially abstract these APIs. So that's where LLMs come in. This is the new model that's available. This is the new endpoint. This is the new field that you should be using. Helps us a lot to speed up the time to make those decisions. Having the right checks and balances was one of the main priorities that we had from day one of the company for writing integrations, because we essentially set the challenge of, let's use a system that does not output enterprise-grade code to actually write enterprise-grade code. And so the reality is, for a very long time, it was still humans writing the integrations, but maybe more with a kind of coding assistant for a period of time. Now we're actually bringing it into actual code generation, but we still have a very strong human-in-the-loop process. And I would say primarily still driven by humans, but the velocity at which we're able to do it and the depth and complexity of the integrations we're able to handle is much greater thanks to the AI agents that we have. I think there's been a lot of hype around truly autonomous systems. And because we work a lot with companies that are building agents for enterprises and they sell themselves as agents, I think a lot of the time, because of the early days that we're in right now of AI agents, it's actually more like generative AI flow as part of a traditional SaaS product. What I'm really excited about is when we get to a point where you really do have autonomous systems running recruitment, running your knowledge management, running your productivity, like personal assistants. I think everyone has this idea of a personal assistant, but when you think about role-based AI agents within an enterprise that have accurate actions that they're taking within the tools, accurate knowledge and up-to-date knowledge of the systems that they're interacting with, that have checks and balances and guardrails around the actions that they're able to take. We're a little ways away from that actually happening, but I'm very excited about that becoming a reality probably in the next year or two. I think that for us within StackOne and the guidelines that we give our employees for usage of AI, number one is we strongly encourage using AI. And I think that everyone is new at it by definition because it is new. everyone has to learn how to prompt. Everyone has to learn how AI reasons, which models work better for certain tasks. And you want everyone to try and experiment as much as possible and knowledge share with other people. So that for us, we already have a huge drive and a kind of top-down push for everyone to utilize it as much as possible. One of the key things about our platform is typically the fact that we don't retain data, and we therefore enable our customers to sell to much more enterprise companies that care about the data supply chain. So our customers ask for it. For us, we also look for it ourselves because we want to make sure that we control who has access to the data, how it's being accessed, try and monitor it as much as possible. But I think there's a misconception about how quickly AI is being adopted in some areas of enterprises today. And I think that's because a lot of the focus is on the models and proof of concepts and small scale experiments right now, really, and small scale companies. But really that barrier to adoption is twofold. One is the security, accuracy, really matching the requirements of enterprises that are risk adverse. The second thing is actually design. And so I think one of the things that paradoxically, outside of learning about prompts and models and integrations and all that stuff, actually learning about user design and user experience design is equally important, because you can have the best models. If it doesn't fit within the workflow of your users, it's not going to be adopted. And I think this is really what a lot of companies are getting wrong today, is they're trying to invent a workflow that is completely separate from anything else that their customers are using, any of the tools that their customers are using. Whereas actually our customers are seeing the fastest growth and the fastest adoption is when they're saying, you don't even have to leave the existing tool you're in. We plug into it and we enrich it and we enhance what it does. GoLinks has become an addictive thing. And I used to work at Google. So for me, I actually did search for, does that exist outside of Google? And so I was very pleasantly surprised. Initially used it just for myself when we founded the company, and then started creating GoLinks for literally everything and shared it with the team. And now the vast majority of the team use it. I think what I like most about GoLinks specifically is the ability to keep everyone focused on one. Like, for example, we have Go/OKRs. Go/OKRs will always point to the latest OKRs, so we don't have to constantly be sharing things, worrying about versions. I think that idea of versioning and changing where the pointer goes, it sounds like a silly thing, but it's actually very crucial. I think that's one of the best selling points for me.